Hi everyone, welcome to today's training on the youth via SPDAT. Before we begin, make sure you watch the training videos on Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the HMIS trainings. We're going to start in HMIS under Client Point, where we will search for our client, Shay Test. And you could use the current date if you're meeting with the client today, or you could set a back date if necessary. Under the client profile, you'll scroll down to where you see the via SPDATs and choose the TAY, Transition Age Youth via SPDAT. Press Add. Okay, let's get started. I have my client here with me today. Shay, I'll be conducting a survey with you that will take roughly 7 minutes of your time. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Please be mindful to be as honest as possible when answering the questions so that we can match you to appropriate services. If you don't understand any of the questions, please ask for clarification. If you feel uncomfortable answering any questions, let me know and we can skip over it.
Okay.
All right. Where do you sleep most frequently?
Outdoors.
How long has it been since you've lived in permanent, stable housing?
Under a year.
And in the last 3 years, how many times have you been homeless?
Twice.
In the past 6 months, how many times have you received health care at an emergency department?
Once.
In the past 6 months, how many times have you taken an ambulance to the hospital?
0.
In the past 6 months, how many times have you been hospitalized as an inpatient?
1.
In the past 6 months, how many times have you used a crisis service, including sexual assault crisis, mental health crisis, family intimate violence, distress centers, and suicide prevention hotlines?
Twice.
And in the past 6 months, how many times have you talked to the police because you witnessed a crime, or the victim of a crime, or the alleged perpetrator of a crime, or because the police told you that you must move along?
1.
And in the past 6 months, how many times have you stayed 1 or more nights in a holding cell, jail, prison, or juvenile detention, whether it was a short-term stay like the drunk tank, a longer stay for a more serious offense, or anything in between?
None.
And have you been attacked or beaten up since you've become homeless?
No.
Have you threatened, tried to harm yourself or anyone else in the last year?
No.
Do you have any legal stuff going on right now that may result in you being locked up, having to pay fines, or that make it more difficult to run a place to live?
No.
Were you ever incarcerated when you were younger than age 18?
Yes.
Does anybody force or trick you to do things you do not want to do?
No.
Do you ever do things that may be considered to be risky, like exchange sex for money, food, drugs, or a place to stay, run drugs for someone, have unprotected sex with someone you don't know, share a needle, or anything like that?
I don't feel comfortable asking that or answering that.
Totally understand. Is there any person, past landlord, business, bookie, dealer, or government group like the IRS that thinks you owe them money?
I don't think so.
Do you get any money from the government, like an inheritance, an allowance, working under the table, a regular job, or anything like that?
No.
Do you have planned activities other than just surviving that make you feel happy and fulfilled?
Not really.
And are you currently able to take care of basic needs like bathing, changing clothes, using a restroom, getting food and clean water, and other things like that?
Not very often.
Is your current lack of stable housing because you ran away from your family home, a group home, or a foster home?
No.
Is your current lack of stable housing because of a difference in religious or cultural beliefs from your parents, guardians, or caregivers?
No.
Is your current lack of stable housing because your family or friends caused you to become homeless?
No.
Is your current lack of stable housing because of conflicts around gender identity or sexual orientation?
No.
Is your current lack of stable housing because of violence at home between family members?
Yes.
And is your current lack of stable housing because of an unhealthy or abusive relationship either at home or elsewhere?
Yes.
Have you ever had to leave an apartment, shelter program, or other place you were staying because of your physical health?
No.
Do you have any chronic health issues with your liver, kidneys, stomach, lungs, or heart?
No.
If there was a space available in a program that specifically assists people that live with HIV or AIDS, would that be of interest to you?
No.
Do you have any physical disabilities that would limit the type of housing you could access or would make it hard to live independently because you need help?
No.
When you're sick or not feeling well, do you avoid getting medical help?
Yes.
Are you currently pregnant? Have you ever been pregnant, or have you ever gotten someone pregnant?
Yes.
Has your drinking or drug use led to you being kicked out of an apartment or program where you were staying in the past?
No.
Will drinking or drug use make it difficult for you to stay housed or afford your housing?
No.
If you've ever tried marijuana, did you ever try it at age 12 or younger?
No.
All right, just a few more questions. Have you ever had trouble maintaining your housing or been kicked out of an apartment, shelter program, or other place you're staying because of a mental health issue or concern?
No.
Have you ever had trouble maintaining your housing or been kicked out of an apartment, shelter program, or other place you're staying because of a past head injury?
No.
Have you ever had trouble maintaining your housing or been kicked out of an apartment, shelter program, or other place you're staying because of a learning disability, developmental disability, or other impairment?
No.
Do you have any mental health or brain issues that would make it hard for you to live independently because you need help?
No.
Are there any medications that a doctor said you should be taking that for whatever reason you're not taking?
Yes.
And are there any medications like painkillers that you don't take the way the doctor prescribed or where you sell the medication?
No.
All right. Well, Shay, I really appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to contacting you in the very near future to try to match you to appropriate services. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and once the interview is done, we hit save and exit, and it will calculate your grand total score for you under the TAVI SPDAT. And after watching the training video, please fill out the Google form using the code YOUTH, and please feel free to reach out to United Way staff with any further questions. Thank you.